So, I've actually gotten a request for this more than I expected, with it being mid-August. But, like I've said before, if I get enough requests for it, it's clearly a video that I have to make. So in this video, I'm going over the 15 fragrances geared for the fall and autumn season that I'm looking forward to wearing. So stay tuned. None of this is in any particular order. It's going to be some designer, some niche, some indie. It's going to be a little bit of everything. That's why it's 15. Starting with the one I'm probably most excited about because it's just a little too much for the heat, I find. In the fall seasons, I like more spices, spicy greens, more floral dominated fragrances. That's really what fall's all about for me personally. Obviously, I mix in some other things as well, but I'm really excited to start wearing SPICEBOMB Night Vision Eau de Parfum. This is still my favorite in the line. Look, I really like the new infrared. I think it was a really good release, but this is just a little bit better. And I think a little bit better is me being nice about it, because this is one of my favorite releases to come out in years. This stuff is great if you want something that's very loud, very long lasting. It has a little bit of a uniqueness to it because it's so nutty and creamy from the nutty notes and the pistachio. You might want to look into this. Compliment machine, built for the fall, winter, and early spring, in my opinion. You don't have to go heavy on this one. It's still just floating around in front of me. This is such a great fragrance. I bought this one on release day in the US, as I did with infrared. And next time they release one in the SPICEBOMB line, I'm going to do it again too, because this is a fantastic line, and this is the highlight of the line aside from Extreme. I'm not going to knock Extreme. I know that's a lot of people's favorites. It's one of my favorite fragrances too, but I just like this one a little bit more. Takes everything that Night Vision was and improved upon it, as the majority of people wanted, because it came with some critical acclaim when Night Vision EDT came out, which I actually enjoy. It's basically like a spicy Invictus. I like spicy, I like Invictus, I like Night Vision EDT. This is just much more well-rounded, powerful, creamy, and full of character. It has the character that Night Vision EDT was lacking. Definitely looking forward to wearing this one this fall. Night Vision EDP. One of the more versatile niche fragrances in my collection. The reason I don't really wear it much in the heat is it's a bit more dense and creamy, even though it's the fresher version of this fragrance. I'm talking about ROJA Parfums Danger Parfum Cologne. This is the one I tend to wear the most in the line because it's so versatile. Still smells like Danger, which Danger Parfum I think is one of the best fragrances out there. That's just my opinion. Obviously this can't touch the Parfum, but it's close. It's close because it's, like I said, it's the cologne version of it. It's a lighter, fresher version of Danger Parfum Pour Homme, which I've been lucky enough to experience recently. And I do need to get a bottle of that at some point, but for now, Parfum Cologne will do. Because this still has the bright citruses up top. Like I said, it's a fresher version. You still get some spicy greens, fresh spicy greens, with a little bit of warmth, not overly warm. Scandal's more warm and spicy than this is. They share a similar scent profile without being the same fragrance. This is a bit creamy though. When it comes to the relatively creamy fragrances, which you'll see a trend. The last one's creamy, this one's creamy, and there's a few others that are creamy in this video. When they have a dense creaminess, I tend to like them when it starts to cool down a bit more. And this one has that freshness, the crazy amount of citruses up top, most notably some lemon, but some creaminess, some fresh spicy greens, and of course some nice dense woods as a backbone in the dry down. Performs very well. Obviously a bit more expensive because it's a niche fragrance, but definitely one of the better versatile niche fragrances out there in my opinion. Definitely looking forward to wearing Danger Parfum Cologne. Believe it or not, this particular slightly aquatic blue fragrance is so dense and potent and powerful that I actually prefer it in the fall and spring, even some in the colder winter months, because it's just so powerful. The others in the line are built better for summer than this one in my opinion. I'm talking about Invictus Legend from PACO RABANNE. This is a tester bottle, that's why it says the name on the front. This is all about Salt, bay leaf, and amber. That's what's dominating in this fragrance for me. And I mean, it's rich and salty in the opening. If you don't like a super salty fragrance, you may not like this one. Kind of a unique blue fragrance, to be honest with you. You can pick up the Invictus DNA, but it doesn't just all out scream Invictus to me like I know it does for some people, because like I said, sea salt, amber, and bay leaf, heightened and heavy in this fragrance. And it seems to never want to go away and never really calm down. I mean, it takes hours for this fragrance to calm down. Very strong CI, strong scent trail in this one. Have gotten a few compliments, not some big compliment magnet, but can get some compliments. It's unique. I find it to be unique for a blue fragrance. One of the most unique blue fragrances, honestly, because it's strangely warm, this warm amber, but super mega sea salt, which would make it much more aquatic. At the same time, it's kind of two different types of fragrances making this one oddly enjoyable blue fragrance. Definitely a strange one, but in a good way. And in the Invictus line, I think it fits the line because, like I said, I do detect the DNA, but it's just such an intense, salty version, to be honest with you. But because it's so dense and salty, I actually don't like it in the high heat. I find it's a little much. It can be a little cloying for me personally while I'm wearing it. So in the fall is prime time for me for this one. Fall and spring, I feel like this one shines, and I'm definitely looking forward to pulling it out this fall. It's Invictus Legend. Next is the first one that's a bit on the floral side. Not a bit. This is much more floral. It's fresh and fruity up top. It's got some woodiness with a touch of ambroxan in the base, but it's all about this marigold and rose in the heart of the fragrance. It is my favorite pickup from 2020. It is KAJAL Parfums LAMAR. So definitely way too much for me in the summer. That's why you haven't heard me breathe a word about this fragrance this past summer. This, like I said, it's just too much. Man, it smells so freaking good, though. You got to get a sample and try this one, guys. Look, obviously, it's not going to be for everybody. There's some people that aren't going to like this at all. But I love this fragrance. I love this fragrance. This is my favorite pineapple fragrance. Now, it's not dominated by pineapple, but in the opening, I get a lot of the pineapple. There's other citruses, and some people don't even really smell much of the pineapple from what I understand. But I get plenty of it. My nose picks it up in the air. On my skin, it shines. And then the marigold outshines the rose as well. So very elegant. I still like to wear it with a t-shirt nonetheless. I feel like confidence is key with this one because it's so dominated by florals. It's a fruity floral men's fragrance essentially, even though it's not completely classified as a fruity floral. It's on my skin, it's dominated by fruits and florals. So that's why I personally classify it that way. Performance is no slouch. It's very well put together. It does dress up very well, but like I said, I even like wearing it with a t-shirt. Confidence is key because it doesn't really fit with a t-shirt, honestly. But hey, prime example. Wear what you want when you want to wear it. And for me, fall season is an ideal season for LAMAR, and I can't wait to pull this one out and spray it this fall. It's KAJAL Parfums LAMAR. Next is an indie fragrance from one of my favorite indie houses. From those of you familiar with the channel will be familiar with this brand and potentially this fragrance because it's got this grape, apple, brandy kind of smell. It's a little smokiness kind of in there. It reminds me of a bar room. It really does. And it's very GOODO. It's HAPPYLAND Studio. El GOODO. I can't help but say very GOODO every time I talk about this fragrance because I think it is very, very good. One of my top 3 favorite fragrances from the house. They have about 20 fragrances now. This, Paisley Sky, and now Shameless, I think, is in my top 3. Are the 3 must-haves, or at least must-tries, in my opinion. This is one of them. I've loved this from the moment it has come out. EJ's got a lot of really good fragrances that he has created in HAPPYLAND Studio, but this is one of the must-tries for me. Again, the never-ending disclaimer of not everybody's going to like anything, but luckily with HAPPYLAND you can get individual samples, you can get a few samples, or you can get a sample pack of the entire house offering. This one is worth a sample if you like fruity, boozy fragrances, because this is very fruity. Like I said, apple and grape Even though there's not really any grape listed, I still get a grape smell with this apple brandy note. It's beautiful. Very, very beautiful in my opinion. And it's a beast. It's super loud. You got to be ready to spray this one, because you will get noticed with this fragrance. Are they going to say anything? Who knows? But they're going to smell you. I can't wait to pull out HAPPYLAND El GOODO, because it's very goodo. The most well balanced in its line, one of my favorite iris fragrances ever created. It's an iconic iris fragrance, really. It's the original DIOR Homme, my big old 5-ounce bottle. Fall and spring's when I like to pull this one out. That waxy iris. This is that waxy makeup bag, lipsticky kind of iris that some of you have heard of. Not everybody's tried this, I get it. But enthusiasts have tried this. A lot of enthusiasts have collected the line, as have I. It's good. It's just really good. It's a solid performer. It's not some beast, but it's not weak at the same time. It's pronounced. It's unique. This, especially when it came out, was a unique fragrance, especially for men, because it's dominated by a makeup bag smell, a waxy iris. And it just works. This particular one, the original, is the reason I say it's the most well balanced, because you do get the iris, you do get a little bit of sweetness, you get a little bit of leather, you get a little bit of freshness. It's pretty well balanced. Whereas the Intense dials up the sweetness. The Parfum dials up the leather. DIOR Homme Eau, which is discontinued, dials up the freshness. You see what I'm saying? There's this DNA gets balanced and tweaked differently for its flankers. The flankers in the line for DIOR Homme Eau, aside from DIOR Homme Cologne, the original DIOR Homme Cologne had iris, but DIOR Homme Cologne, DIOR Homme Sport, the newest formulas, they don't match the line like they once did. Whereas DIOR Homme Eau, which is discontinued, Intense, and Parfum, they take this fragrance and change the balance and performance accordingly. You have a fresher version, a sweeter version, a darker version. This being, like I said, the most versatile and arguably my favorite because of the versatility that it has. Even though I swear by DIOR Homme Parfum, I think that's one of the greatest fragrances ever made, period, end of story. This is still the most versatile. And that's DIOR Homme, the original. This is another one of those fragrances that has some spices going for it, but has this dense creaminess that's just too much for me to wear in the heat. But once it starts to cool down, I can really go to enjoying it. And I've been waiting for the fall to enjoy this one because I feel it's most appropriate for it. It's MONTALE Wood and Spices. Sorry for the reflection. I mean, it's basically a mirrored bottle. No way around it. Man, I do get plenty of woods, but I get this lovely, almost floral-like creaminess. It does smell like Nico's Sculpture Homme, which is a much cheaper, more synthetic way to smell like this fragrance. But you can definitely smell the quality and performance difference when you spray them side by side. This is hands down the better fragrance. You're just going to have to spend a lot more money. Even from discounters, you're going to spend $65, $70, $80 range, depending on where you can find it from discounters, versus spending 20 bucks on Nico's Sculpture Homme. So if you're on a budget, it's a good alternative for this. But if you have the money to spend, this is hands down the better way to go for that scent, for this particular scent DNA. It's very, very good. Very versatile. This can be a daily wear for you if you like creamy and slightly spicy fragrances. In the fall, moving into the winter, and then again into the early spring. I think this best suits fall though. It really screams starting to wear a light jacket in the evenings and stuff like that. One that works well during the day. Can be a great work fragrance. You don't need to go heavy on the trigger because, like I said, it performs pretty well for me, above average in projection and longevity. Definitely easy to get noticed in this one, but it's not too in your face. That's why I say if you're, mindful of your sprays for your setting, can definitely be a signature scent no matter where you're going. You can just adjust the sprays accordingly, and it's definitely one I'm looking to pulling out this fall. That's MONTALE Wood and Spices. Speaking of spices, now obviously I'm gonna wear SPICEBOMB and SPICEBOMB Extreme. Even though I featured Night Vision EDP, I didn't want to just put all of the SPICEBOMB line in here because they're all geared for fall, honestly. Even the discontinued Fresh works great in the fall. But something that's pretty similar, just the iris on my skin and the tuberose really jump out in the dry down. I love this fragrance. I got it last fall, and I can't wait to start wearing it again, is a classic Bulgari Man in Black. A beautiful rum note up top with the spices, and like I said, on my skin, man, that's lovely. On my skin, I get plenty of that iris and tuberose, more the tuberose with, you know, a nice undertone of the iris. In the dry down, it becomes quite floral and woody and changes drastically on my skin. What you get in the top and the heart for this fragrance, I do not get in the dry down. It does not stay linear. This actually changes, I don't want to say rapidly, but drastically. It's a night and day difference. What I get up top of my skin is spicy booze, woody floral in the dry down. I was very surprised the first time I wore it because this was a blind buy in a gift set at Marshall's last fall. Look, it's nothing new. It's been around a long time. I've heard people say, oh, it's weak now, it's reformulated, blah, 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 blah. All the performance crap you hear. But I still get like 6 or 7 hours, which I think is solid. And if the old bottle's got 10, I mean, yay if you got an old bottle, but 6 or 7 hours, still really good performance for me. That's slightly above average. That's kind of sweet spot for me depending on the scent profiles. Anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. If I can get 8 hours out of anything, 7 to 8 hours, I'm super happy with that, especially a dense fragrance. Whereas this isn't super dense. It wears lighter than you would think for it being a spice and rum dominated top and having florals and woods dominate the base and dry down. But I just think it's a lovely smell all in all. I get average to slightly above average performance. It's very enjoyable to smell. It doesn't come across overly synthetic. It's probably the most iconic in the line, and for good reason. And look, I do have Black Orient, the much more super spicy version of it with some added oud. That's great, but I think that's better for the winter. When winter rolls around is when I'll be pulling that out. But for fall, I'm definitely ready to pull out Man in Black. Now, during the fall, on occasion, I do like certain ouds. I really like my ouds, my heavy ouds, in the cold, in the winter. But one that's new to the collection for this year that I've kind of been saving for fall, that just screams fall to me, it's Boss Bottled with Oud. It's in the name even, Boss Bottled Oud. This is so good. I slept on this for so long. I just think it's amazing. I kind of wish I'd have got more than a 50 ml. Synthetic, sure, but boy is it pleasant. It's warm. It's got that touch of synthetic, very wearable oud with the apple and the cinnamon. It's, like I said, it's literally, they took Boss Bottled and added oud. I don't know if there's any other notes that are different in there from Boss Bottled, but that's what it smells like. It smells like they just added a synthetic oud to the original Boss No. 6, and I think it just works. I don't know what kind of performance I'm going to get because I have not given it a full wearing. I've only done 2 test sprays from when I did the first impressions unboxing video a while back because I've been waiting for fall to roll around, because ever since the first sniff, it just screams fall season, autumn weather. I think brown and orange leaves falling on the ground when I smell this. You know, it puts me there. And I can't wait to wear this one. This is one I can't wait to wear the most in this video. Obviously, it's not ranked because it's, you know, somewhere around the middle of the video. Because honestly, this and SPICEBOMB Night Vision EDP are probably the 2 I'm most excited about. Honestly, this is really good. Like I said, I wish I wouldn't have put off getting it so long because I was definitely missing out. 50 ml will last me a very, very long time, so it's not a big bummer that I didn't get a 100 ml just for the price. It was right on the 50 ml. I'm super excited this fall to wear this one. That is Boss Bottled Oud. Now, for being a niche fragrance, it's actually a little on the synthetic side, but it's so enjoyable. It's so powerful. Super unisex. It's definitely more on the feminine side for a men's fragrance, even though it's not really marketed for men. A lot of men seem to be who wears this, as far as what I see on social media. It's a more floral version of Baccarat Rouge 540 is how I would describe it in the most simple form. It's MANCERA Instant Crush. Like I said, it's a little bit on the synthetic side, I find. I have one of the magnetic caps. This is the only MANCERA bottle I have that has a magnetic cap. All my other ones are screw tops that are a bit older. But this stuff's really good. Man, it's like a jasmine heavy Baccarat Rouge 540. And the amberwood's dialed up a bit on this one from Baccarat Rouge 540, I find, as well. It's just so good. It's just way too much for the heat. I think it is anyways. Obviously you can wear an oud rose fragrance in 100-degree weather if you really want to. I won't do that. I'm very season appropriate, and I really hold certain things for seasons I deem them best suited for, and I think Instant Crush is best suited for the fall. More so than early spring, even more so than the winter. I just really like the way florals come off of my skin. I like to smell florals and spices a lot more in the autumn. And this one is all of that and then some. The saffron jumps out at me to add a nice little floral undertone of a touch of spice, but it's really dominated by jasmine and amberwood on my skin. It's delightful, and it's super powerful. I don't need many sprays. I wear 4 sprays when I wear this. I haven't spent a ton of time with it. I have worn it a few times because I'm so seasonal with everything. So I've been itching to pull this one out. When I think fall fragrances that I'm gearing up to start wearing, I'm ready to pull this one out. If I spend a little bit more time with it, I will do a full review this fall as well, for those of you that care to hear my opinion on it further. But I can't wait to wear MANCERA Instant Crush. Next, I like to wear this one specifically in the fall as well. I don't pull it out any other time of year. I have nicknamed this the Justin Copeland Special. Some of you, as soon as I say that, know exactly what fragrance I'm talking about. It's the designer fragrance most synonymous with Justin, John Varvatos Vintage. Bitter orange, leather, rhubarb, a little tobacco. Oddly fresh but dense. That bitter orange adds the freshness, but one that's a little too much for the summer. Like I said, I really think of browns and oranges and tamed yellows. That's the colors I see when I smell something like this, because you know how it is. Sometimes you'll smell certain things and a certain color will jump out at you. Red or blue, green fragrance, you know what I mean? Light blue, so on. I think autumn colors, like I said, burnt oranges, deep reds, you know, muted yellows, if you will. All the colors of the dying leaves in the autumn. This one suits that. It adds a freshness. It's got a classiness to it without being too serious. It can dress down, but this one absolutely will go well with a sports jacket or a blazer or something like that. Very lovely fragrance. Like I said, it's been featured to death on Justin's channel. The day after I met Justin back in 2019, we did a little collab review early in my channel on this. Just talking about it, you know. We didn't go real deep into it. We just kind of gave some thoughts on it. But it's one that when you see it out at the rack stores, it's a no-brainer. I'll always recommend roll the dice on it. 75 ml is going to run you 25 bucks. Just like this one. This came from a rack store, 75 ml for 25 bucks. Around 35, I believe, when you see a 125 ml, regardless of which fragrance it is from John Varvatos. Anytime you see these at the rack stores, they're usually worth a pickup. It's a really good designer house. They don't perform really well, but they all smell great. They have a slight uniqueness to them, aside from the John Varvatos and Nick Jonas line, but Vintage, it's the one that screams fall to me the most. Now that I have the original as well, that's the two I'll be looking to wear this fall, but predominantly this one because I have a fondness for it. I have a good scent memory tied to it, so I'm definitely looking to pull John Varvatos Vintage out this fall. This is just way too much for the summer. It's going to suit the fall really well because of the spearmint oil that it has. It offers a good freshness. It's got this spice from the cardamom. It's a little smoky woody, but it's really, really loud. There's nothing subtle here. I mean, 2 sprays in the car is almost too much for my wife, to be honest with you, with AMOUAGE Enclave. This is such a great, it's one of the recent releases from the Renaissance collection. Not the newest release, but it is so good. Guys, you need to try this one. It's been a little while since I've smelled it. Man. Look, I like Meander. Meander's good. It's powdery. It's a little smoky. But this is just better. This is my favorite in the collection. As far as the Renaissance collection from AMOUAGE. Get a sample and try this one, guys. It's such a good fragrance. It doesn't remind me of anything else. It's unique. And it's got nuclear performance on my skin. I'm kidding, not kidding. 3 sprays is more than enough on my skin. 2 sprays the first time I got it damn near choked my wife out in the car. because I remember specifically we went to Lowe's. We had stuff to do that day, and I had wore it for the first time. And I just wore 2 sprays. Nothing crazy, just to see what it was like, because I knew it was a powerful fragrance. And phew, wow. And the scent on this one, like I said, is next level for me. I think it's one of the better releases that appeal to my senses in the last few years from a niche house. I really, really think this is a great fragrance. And like I said, sample, not cheap. Get a sample, try it out, see if it's full bottle worthy for you. You might be pleasantly surprised. I would hope you'll be pleasantly surprised, because I know for me I was, and I definitely thoroughly enjoy this one and can't wait to start spraying this bottle on my skin this fall. AMOUAGE ENCLAVE. So this is one in the spring I was really enjoying until it started to warm up, because I find it's a bit too dense for the heat. Now that fall's rolling around, because I think this is really geared for spring, fall, more so early spring. It's the better version of Dolce & Gabbana K. It's the Eau de Parfum. Dolce & Gabbana K EDP is a great fragrance in my opinion. The way the geranium's done in here with the juniper is just lovely. I enjoy it. My buddy Fernando, shout out to you if you see this. I can't not think of this now when I smell it. He ruined it for me almost when he said it smells like Tresemme hairspray. Now every time I spray it in the opening, that's the first thought I get is Tresemme hairspray. Thanks, Fernando. Appreciate you. So you know how it is. Sometimes people will put something in your head, and once you hear it, you can't not smell that in the fragrance once you hear it. I'm going to spray it again, though. I love it. Performs above average, not a beast. Solid performer. I have gotten a few compliments on this one. Not some big compliment magnet. Not many. 2 or 3, maybe. Wasn't many. The wife's not a big fan of this one, but she doesn't think it smells bad, just for good measure. The wife's not a huge fan of it, and I know a lot of people aren't. I actually really like the EDT. I've put off getting a bottle for a long time now, but the EDP is just a little bit better because of the density. It wears heavier, but it wears well for how heavy it is. It really sticks to my skin. I really get that 7-8 hour range on my skin. Even low end getting 6 is still pretty solid on this. I did get a tester for a really good price last year, and I'm ready to start pulling this one out again. I actually wore this one a handful of times this past spring. This was kind of, for the way my rotations go, handful of times in one season is heavy in the rotation for me. So definitely looking forward to pulling this one out again this fall. Dolce & Gabbana K EDP. One of the better spicy fragrances out there. Still very sweet, obviously, because it's dominated by some vanilla. But the way the geranium comes off, it has this menthol Vicks Vapor Rub kind of smell in the opening. Another thing, once somebody put it in my head, I can't not smell Vicks Vapor Rub in the opening anymore. Some of you know what fragrance I'm talking about. Parfums de Marly Layton. Look, I have several ways to smell like Layton. I have Royal Equestrian, Uncle Jumbo from Strike Gold Shave. I have a few clones for some other houses as well. And of course I have a 4.2 ounce of the original. I love Layton. I love the DNA. I love Layton Exclusive. I have 30, well, it's a 30 ml bottle, but I got like 20 ml in it. It's just a really good fragrance. See, I can't not smell Vicks Vapor Rub in the opening now. Thanks, I forgot who put that in my head. But thanks. But it's not a bad thing. It does turn some people off, and they have to get past the opening. I actually like it. Oddly enough, I smell it floating in the air. Vicks Vapor Rub. It's weird. I get it, me saying that. But the spices are pretty dominant here. The vanilla is very smooth and creamy. There's some woods here. And like I said, the geranium's really heavy up top for me, but it's a good geranium. I like the heavy mintiness in a geranium. It's when it's a dirty geranium that it turns me off. It can almost give a roach spray kind of smell on my skin. Don't get that with Parfums de Marly Layton. This one has gotten me many compliments, though. The wife loves the way this one smells. I'm happy to report, versus the one she's so on. This is nothing new. This is one you've heard tons of people talk about. This is one a lot of you have a clone of, had a decant of, whatever. But it's in the cooler months, not cold. This can be an everyday driver for you. This can be a date night evening scent. This can be a special event scent. It kind of does a little bit of everything. For being minty, sweet, and spicy, a combination you wouldn't think versatile. When you hear, it kind of is. You can really do a little bit of everything with it. Another one, control the sprays according to your setting and situation. You can kind of do just about everything in the fall with it, and that's what I love about it, and that's why I'm ready to start wearing it again. This fall, I'm ready to wear Layton. Last but not least is one of the newest additions to my collection that is so not summer appropriate. That's why I have not wore it yet outside of the first impressions video that I did. It is ORMANDE. This is XANDRIA. This stuff is something special. Amber powdery delight. Dry, powerful. Oh man. Super duper powerful. From what I understand, this is supposedly similar to Zaharoff Alexandria 2. Never smelled that one, so I cannot verify nor deny. In the comments section in the first impressions video for this, not that long ago, a couple people mentioned that. And I've noticed online there's comparisons to it as well. So that may be the case. I don't know. I've never tried Alexandria 2. If so, Alexandria 2 smells incredible. I did not know that, because this smells incredible. An odd fragrance, but very enjoyable because it's so dry and warm, and it comes off dusty. Dusty is kind of the way I would describe the powderiness here because it's dry. How I had somebody ask me what makes a fragrance dry. It's really hard to describe, honestly. There's no moistening quality about it. Some fragrances you smell, and sweet fragrances, boozy fragrances, watery aquatic fragrances, they have a moistening type of smell or a refreshingness to it. Whereas this, it almost like dries out my sinuses almost when I smell it. It's got a dry quality to it. You really have to experience a dry fragrance to understand what I mean or what others mean when they say it has a dry smell. It's an experience, an olfactory experience you need to have to fully understand. You can't really just explain it without you experiencing it to fully grasp it. I hope that makes sense, because this one's definitely very dry. One of the driest fragrances I have here in this collection, all behind me, and I'm pretty excited to wear this one as well. This is going to be more evening wear type of stuff. It's very dark and warm. Not something I see myself wanting to grab during the day with a t-shirt or whatever. This is going to be more so go and get together with family, go and hang out with friends, or even dinner wear type of scent profile. This will do really well for dinner and evenings out, I think. And that's where I'll be doing my testing with it. I'm actually quite excited to pull this one out this fall. It's ORMANDE. This is XANDRIA. Well, that's the 15 I'm most excited to wear for fall 2021. Until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. You looking forward to wearing any of those? Let me know in the comments. What are you most excited to wear? There's got to be some stuff you're itching, because I know there's, based on my count that I can remember, 11 of you. 11's the count I remember of requests for this video topic, that are wanting to talk about fall fragrances you're excited to wear when fall starts to roll around. The climate I'm in Colorado Springs, fall's going to come sooner than later for me. Whereas I'm not in the South in Texas or Louisiana anymore, so I don't have to wait till November to get fall weather. I'll be getting fall weather in September, next month. So pretty excited about that. We're still wearing aquatics right now. I'm still wearing fresh fragrances, and I'll probably still wear a few fresh fragrances next month, but stuff like this you'll see early on in the rotation once fall weather starts to cool down around here. And these are the ones I'm excited about. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that I'm excited to wear this autumn, you can give them a spray now. Might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.